I always think in terms of and talk in terms of the functioning of this physical living organism only. You have to, you see, we live in two different worlds. The natural world. And this living organism has a tremendous intelligence of its own. It doesn't need to learn anything to function and live in a jungle. But unfortunately, our culture has created a different kind of a world in which we have to function differently. Society, culture, or whatever you want to call it, has created this world for us in which we live in the world of ideas, worlds of thoughts, worlds of experiences. And the society says that we are going to educate you and fit you into this framework. And here is the cake for you. If you want a share in that cake, you have to fight for it. The more you fight for it, the more larger share you will have in this cake. So we have got to be educated, and there is no way we can survive in this world without fighting for our share in that cake. People ask me, what are you? You see, what do you do? You see, not necessarily for a living. I have to tell them, I'm a philosopher of some sort. I did my philosophy, but I am not a professional philosopher. But I have discovered something extraordinary for myself. And despite everything I did, I stumbled into something extraordinary. You search for something all your life, you see. For example, you see that there is a self here, or God out there, and suddenly it hits you like a little lightning, that where is this self that I have been searching all my life? You see, it shatters everything that you have experienced before. The whole image that you have built around that is shattered to pieces. You expect to be in a blissful state, in a state of ecstasy, full of love, full of compassion. But in its place you find that this is just a living organism, pulsating with life. What is there? And what you are left with is just the pulse and the beat and throb of life. And there is nothing there. And this comes as a shock because you realize that all your life, all through your search, you expected that you would be something like Buddha, something like Jesus, something like, you see, Muhammad, all the great teachers. And so that came as a shock to me and said, you see, this is a calamity. See, you are expecting something to happen. You are questing all your life, you see, for something that does not exist. You see, that came as a shock to me. So that's the reason why I use that word, calamity, and also rejected totally and completely the idea of transformation, because what is there to be transformed? I didn't find anything there, so there is nothing there to be transformed. And so all that talk of transformation, radical or otherwise, is just poppycock, I said to myself. The question that, you see, first I started with the question, you see, I want to be enlightened. I want to be like Buddha. I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like all the great spiritual teachers. And so how to be enlightened? You see, that I pursued for a long time. And somewhere along the line I discovered, through some sort of a mystical experience, I might say that. You see, the mystical experience is within the framework of the knowledge still. And that's, I consider, and it's a very petty little experience. You experience what you know. That does not in any way free you from the knowledge you have acquired. So you are still, you see, caught up in this idea, and you owe everything to the one that has helped you to experience these things. You are still dependent on that. You have not actually freed yourself from that. That's why I call it mystical experience. That itself is an extraordinary thing because it awakens some sort of an intelligence there in you. And from then on, you look at everything differently. You experience the same old things in a different way and try to share that experience with somebody else. Or you interpret the text, you see, in a different way, in a more meaningful and more expressive way. But I said to myself, this has nothing to do with what I have been interested in. This is a petty little experience. And then when you still continue and try to go beyond, You have no way of going beyond that mystical experience, because that has a stranglehold on you. Exactly where the other experiences had a stranglehold on you. There is no way you can get out of that trap, because that becomes more important to you because it is your own experience. What you consider to be the experience of others has become your own experience, and that, you see, throttles and chokes you all the time, and the struggles to get out of it is more difficult than what it was before. So at that time I could have established a tremendous worldwide organization and invited the whole world and shouted from the tops of the world, here is something which I have discovered for myself. Come ye and listen to me. And that is also the thing that is responsible for the idea of changing the world. When once you are freed from the demand to bring about a change in you, the demand to change the world around you also comes to an end.